Hmm.
I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities.
Not entirely sure why I didn't do this sooner, but what's going on, folks? My name is Big Iron Riot. You may have known me in such films as any Silent Hill films I've made in the last year, I want to say, and some other stuff. Check out the other stuff. Please check out the other stuff. Today we're going to be looking into the wonderful world of tier listing. It's something I don't know why I didn't do sooner. It's something I never even thought of doing. And then I noticed a lot of people, especially the fans, were just putting together their favorite Silent Hills. So I thought, why the hell not put mine together? Show you guys where my headspace is, you know, where I'm coming from, what I liked and what I didn't like, and all that good stuff. I'll have explanations on why they are where they are, and if you disagree with me, pop in the comments. If you've disagreed with anything else, you've generally said something, why not now, right? And also, if you do have a chance, why don't you go ahead and pop your favorite Silent Hills in there? Make a tier list down in my comment section. I'm curious to see what everyone else is, because I refuse to believe that Silent Hill 2 is the best Silent Hill ever to every single person on the planet. Come on, it can't be that cut and dry. I hope. Now, I will tell you that this is based on the Silent Hills that have been released, any iteration of Silent Hill. Other than that, that's kind of it. I'm not including the movies. And if I haven't played something, which I'm human, Silent Hill fan or not, I am human, so I don't want to hear anything about it. If there's something I haven't played, I'll leave it off the list. So the actual items that go on the tier list may actually surprise you. But let's just get started. And I'm going to be working backwards from release order all the way back to Silent Hill 1 just to shake things up. I don't know why, but if you take a look at the actual tier list here, it has every Silent Hill listed down below. And the scores are ranging from an S to a D rating. And then we do it like that. So, first things first, I will tell you with Silent Hill The Short Message, I will absolutely give it a C. The only reason I will give it a C is because it's not the worst. It has some fairly good imagery. However, when it comes to connections and anything that gave me that Silent Hill vibe, it's virtually non-existent. I played through it and I replayed it with my wife, and we both had the same idea that it almost felt like a short story written for someone else, by someone else, a long time ago, and had zero to do with Silent Hill. The only thing holding it up at all is the fact that, yeah, the atmosphere was very pretty to look at, very, very eerie to look at, but that was it. There wasn't much else to it. I don't know. It didn't feel like a Silent Hill to me. If it had, it would have been higher on the list for sure. But that's what they get. Anyway, so moving on to the next one, we have Silent Hill Ascension. Now, for those that have seen any of my previous content, especially about a year ago, I actively had a campaign against them. Every part of this sounded like it was now within the spirit of Silent Hill, and therefore I dug my talons deep into them and ended up getting a producer to talk to about, a producer from Silent Hill Ascension to talk to about it, went down the list and just made sure I covered all my bases when it came to how much I did not like this. I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, it's true. Do I regret what I said? No. Will I make more content on Silent Hill Ascension? Probably not. But I will tell you this, Silent Hill belongs in the D bin forever, and the D stands for dirt. It's just bad. I didn't even get to finish it, but not finishing it does not mean I don't have the ability to make sure that I keep everything locked in at the grade it deserves. This is something that I couldn't finish because it was so bad. The idea, the concept, all of it. It turned into a reality show. I hated it. I thought it was AI scripted. I hated it. They used piss poor applications and things like that to make sure that they had the character creation down pat. And it just nothing about it was good. You know, it's just that's You can call it a personal vendetta all you want, and you may be right, but this one really rubbed me the wrong way. And a lot of Silent Hills did some bad things and had the wrong messages and did things incorrectly, but this one was the cream of the crop. It was bad. Just saying. So we move on to our next one here. It looks like we got our good old buddy PT. Now, yes, it wasn't a completed Silent Hill, but it is added to the list because it's a part of Silent Hill lore now. It's a part of the fan base. It's something we were looking forward to. While I do not like Hideo much these days because he's so far up his own anus with his work and he thinks he's God's gift to movies even though he makes video games, PT looked amazing. The concept, everything about it scared me. I loved it. It was something I was looking forward to, and I love Norman Reedus, so sign me up. There was word of Guillermo del Toro helping out. There was word of a number of different studios coming in to help him out and things like that. Just all of it sounded like promise, and Hideo was the man for the job apparently, especially then, and all the fans thought so. So for that, I'm going to take PT and I'm going to slap it up with a A. It's going to be an A. It's not an S. It's not the greatest thing, and because it's not complete, I can't rightly give it an S because it's not really set to perfection. So on an emulator, I played Silent Hill Book of Memories for 5 minutes, and much like the treatment that Silent Hill Ascension got, it will receive the same exact treatment. Not exactly grading, but, grading too. It will definitely be in the D section because it was a stupid idea, and I hated it. There may be some people that love it out there. I've got wind that people are trying to resurrect the server so that they can play online again. More power to you. But this was a Silent Hill fashioned to become a Diablo game. Every part of it made me want to rip my own face off. It is not within the spirit of Silent Hill. It isn't even kind of remotely within the spirit. It felt like a mobile game, kind of just set up to be a Silent Hill license. Moving the hell on. So, here's where things get a little dicey, because right now we're going on to Downpour. And I'm going to tell you right now, Downpour wasn't bad. It was not what it could be. It was not what it should have been. But it wasn't bad. I liked it. And the production value had a lot to do with it, because where America messed up, or where the West messed up with the storyline, they made up for it in production value and things like that. So atmospherics and things like that definitely made it a little better. On paper, if somebody were to tell me this story, I'd have been like, not so much. There's no way I'm going to sit by and let this happen. But Downpour was good. I'm sorry, I liked it. There's a lot of fans that actively, any of the Western Silent Hills, they throw right in the dumpster. And more power to you, to each their own. I get it. But in this instance, I'm actually going to give Downpour a B. Because it was not bad. It really wasn't. The next one is Silent Hill Mobile. I never touched any of the Silent Hill mobiles. I know nothing about it, so I'm completely skipping past it. Next one after that, however, Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Now, I found out late about Shattered Memories because it came out for the Wii. I did not know. Okay? I did not know it came out. I did not know it was coming. I did not know they were theorizing that it could be an idea. I didn't any of it. When it did come out, I finally got my hands on it. Despite the gimmick of taking a psychological profile exam before you start the game, and then they modify the game based on what you got in the exam, despite the overall changed storyline altogether, a different look entirely at Silent Hill, I did not like it. I did not like the new look. I did not like it. It felt like a variant of Silent Hill, like if you went to an alternate universe and saw Silent Hill and this is what you got. I can agree with that, but I just didn't like it. The idea that you were running from creatures was the only thing good about it, in my opinion, because I like the helplessness of Silent Hill. And, later on when you beat the game 90 times and you get a rocket-powered, musket launcher, that's different. You can play it and enjoy it and you kind of just have a good time. But I did not like the creature design. I didn't like the character design and the storylines turned on their head for Cheryl and everybody else trying to get a new kind of Silent Hill out. And mainly because it struck a chord with me. It struck a chord with me mainly because the thought of a sequel. If they were to make a part 2 of this right now, what could it be about? And because I couldn't rightly think of anything off the top of my head, I was like, this is it. This is all we're getting. I'm pretty much betting my bottom dollar, even if this sold well, that would be it. They were utilizing the Wii mechanics, so it felt like a gimmicky version of the game. Everything about it set it up like this was the first and last time we were going to see something like this. And I think I caught wind of that. So, Shattered Memories, in my opinion, goes right next to Short Message. It just does. It felt like they belonged together. It's something that didn't feel like a Silent Hill through and through. Maybe had some imagery and things here and there, but not enough for me to go, this is amazing. You know what I mean? And while I still got you here, guys, this is just a reminder, I've had a surplus of subscribers as of late. If you want to get in on the hype train that is Big Iron Riot and find out what's going on in Silent Hill, plus when Silent Hill 2's remake releases, I will be playing it live, or I will be recording it, one or the other, but you will find it on the day it comes out. I suggest you pop on by and see what's going on with me. Hit that subscribe button, follow up. Exciting times are coming in the world of Silent Hill, and I just like to kind of share my opinion on it. We're past the phase where we just start dunking on each other as fans and deciding who's the bigger fan. We're past that already. So if you guys are with that kind of ideology, subscribe. Let's talk. I want to hear your opinions, and I don't want to shit talk you about it. Crazy, right? Alright, next one up, because Silent Hill The Escape isn't even a formal Silent Hill. At last I checked, it was some sort of fan-made something or another. I don't even know what's on this tier list, but I'm not interested. So we're going to move right on past that to Silent Hill Homecoming. Now, Silent Hill Homecoming, it was the really, I think next to Origins, it was the biggest main foray the West had into the Silent Hill franchise. So when they came in and offered Origins and then went straight to Homecoming was coming out for the 360 or the PS3, depending on what you preferred. And I was hyped for this. I was very excited. I lined up at GameStop for it. Yes, GameStop. It was that old. I am that old. Whatever. Anyway, so I was excited about it. Getting to play it, however, was an entirely different story. As the soundtrack, number one, Silent Hills 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I made sure to collect their soundtracks, whether it was buying from Japan or finding it in a store or whatever the case may be. The soundtrack for Silent Hill Homecoming was god-awful. And I don't know about you guys, but a soundtrack makes everything in a Silent Hill game. If you don't have the soundtrack down, then we got no business here, and Homecoming did not supply that. The story was haphazardly kind of thrown together, and it sounded like it was going to make sense, and then people started talking, and the main characters started talking, and just none of it worked for me. It absolutely did not work for me. In terms of a Silent Hill, this was another one of those that, to be fairly honest, I can literally forget it even existed, and I'm absolutely putting it in the D section. I hated Homecoming. I know some people like it, but all I remember is it being a forgettable mess and a buggy mess. If there was something to remember about it, it's the fact that the battle system was wonky as hell. It looked like they took pages out of Silent Hill 4 and said, you know what, you get the idea, let's do that again. And they did not do that again at all. So, no. Anyway, so next up we have Silent Hill Origins, or Silent Hill Zero, or however you want to say it, but Silent Hill Origins. Played a bit of it enough to understand the game. Plot-wise, I can't speak on it, and I won't speak on it because I didn't finish it. So, full disclosure there, I did play a little bit last year on live stream to finally get it out of the way. But here's what I will tell you, it was a slog. It was an absolute slog to get through. It's just, there's a lot of long-winded areas. Breakable weapons, I'm never a fan of because it's just something to slow you down. It feels like a mechanic to literally slow you down during the game. But I just wasn't impressed in the character design or anything. And I was happy to see, certain returning characters and things like that, but it still did nothing for me overall. I will not be rating this game, but I can tell you if it kept up at the pace it did and I beat the game, even the storyline couldn't help and it'd be getting a C at best. Definitely not a B. Oh, and by the way, I went ahead and took the liberty because I found out it existed. I went ahead and added a didn't play section, aka don't care, aka it's not a real Silent Hill. I added that to the end of the tier list here so I can clean up my list a little bit, you know. Okay, so next up we have the Silent Hill Arcade. I will tell you that it will not require me to beat this game in order to grade it, but me and the wife went to an arcade probably last year and ended up seeing this bad boy set up, and it was a whole thing. Had tattered curtains all over the place and glowing greens and things like that. And when you went to go play the game, it was like House of the Dead. Same with the god-awful voice translations and things like that. Things like, go, we have to run, we have to shoot, what is that? Like that kind of stuff. It was absolutely iconically hilarious. By any stretch of the imagination, terrible, but it was hilarious. I loved it. And just because it's a Silent Hill game, you know, I had to give it a try, so me and the wife ended up playing it for a little bit. It's your traditional light rail. There's nothing stupendous about it, and the voice acting is, as mentioned before, god-awful. I see no reason to give it any credence higher than Shattered Memories or Short Message. Actually, to be fairly honest, I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the bargain basement with Homecoming and Book of Memories. It was a gimmicky game at best, and it just wasn't anything. And I will, as a guilty pleasure, I will play the game, or I will, you know, direct friends over to it or whatever like that, but it's not going to be anything profound later on, I can tell you that much. The storyline didn't even kind of make sense. They just used assets from every Silent Hill they could think of just to kind of churn this bad boy out and get some quarters out of you, or tokens, however you prefer. Yeah. So next we have, it looks like Silent Hill 4 The Room. Now, I will tell you, now we're in the prime Silent Hills, okay? This is what I'd like to call the prime Silent Hills anyway. This is where all the real magic happens. Silent Hill 4 The Room, when it came out, every part of this game scared the ever-loving stuffing out of me. This game had the fear. This game built the fear, and they did it right. You were claustrophobic. You were in an apartment complex. There were babies trapped in walls and eye holes. You could look through doors and people were staring back to you. I loved Silent Hill The Room. And I will tell you, and this may shock you, but Silent Hill most certainly deserves to be on S. Silent Hill 4 The Room is one of my favorite Silent Hills, hands down. I absolutely love it. I can play it again. It still scares me to this day. And it's been about 25 years, so I'm not even mad. Anyway, next up we have Silent Hill 3. Now, Silent Hill 3 is a continuation sequel from Silent Hill 1. That's all well and great, but before I get a lot of people ramped up and excited, wondering where this may go, I will tell you that it was great, but it was not scary to me. There was only one scary scene, and that was the bathroom mirror scene. Yeah, the bathroom mirror scene, something like that. That was scary, but outside of that, that was it. It wasn't scary. It was to find more plot line, absolutely. And I loved hearing the plot line. I loved seeing the characters and everything like that. But because part 1 was a different story, part 2 was a different story, when I heard part 3 was coming out, I did not expect part 3 to be a continuation sequel. I wanted it to be a whole new story, and I did not get that. And I had to wait until part 4 to get that. Still, that being said, it was a solid plot line, and that was it, you know. I will tell you, though, however, Silent Hill 3 goes in the A list. It goes there with PT as something that could have been, but just wasn't, in my personal opinion. Oh, look. Silent Hill 2 is next up on the list. Where does good old Riot place this, I wonder? Well, first I'll tell you this. Silent Hill 2 I could not afford as a kid. So in order to play the game, I literally had to find a friend who had a PlayStation 2 and the game, and I had to ask them to borrow both. Now, that may not be much for anyone now, but let me just tell you, in 2004 or whatever, that was a daunting task. That was something that you couldn't just, hey, let me bum that off you, you know? It was difficult, okay? But I got it, and I got to play it for 4 days, and in those 4 days, I absolutely played the hell out of it. Got as many secrets as possible, hit strategy guides, all of it. Absorbed the game as much as humanly possible. Only, a year or two later was I able to get my own. There's a bit of history with this game, for sure. There's a bit of long-winded history and nostalgia with this game, for sure. However, Silent Hill 2 is not the best Silent Hill, and I'm sorry, it's just not. It's one of the most iconic, and it by far deserves a lot of the respect in the Silent Hill franchise because it's based a lot of their theories on it. However, it's not the absolute best. And I'm not saying that just to be a contrarian. I'm not saying that to piss anybody off or anything like that. Me personally, as a kid, to this day, did not take with me Silent Hill 2 as the staple. I did get Pyramid Head. Do not get me wrong, and I absolutely adore Pyramid Head. However, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that this was the one game that had to be on every list for every game ever. Like, it just didn't. I will, however, tell you that despite me saying that, it definitely goes into the A list along with Silent Hill 3, in this man's humble opinion. So it's already looking like anybody watching right now, you're immediately going, "Oh, right, we believed in you and you failed this city." Well, you know what? Tough titties. I don't care. It's my liking. At least I love Silent Hill. At least you love Silent Hill. Let's connect on that and not connect on the fact that you believe I'm wrong, because I'm not. Anyway, so next up we have, and I left this in here on purpose, with the Silent Hill play novel, originally for the Game Boy Advanced, and then came out translated from Japan onto a website so that Silent Hill fans could play. It followed the story of a little boy in Silent Hill for some reason. I did not play it. I have not touched it. I have not found an excuse or reason to touch the game at all. If you guys mention in the comments you want me to play it or play through it, whatever it is, I can, so I can finally get it out of the way. But I'm not going to rank this game because I just did not touch it. Never in anyone's theories has this little boy ever come into play. No one said, "Hey, I know Walter killed some people, but let's talk about the little boy from Silent Hill play novel." It's never come up, and there's a reason why. This whatever this is sounds like it was a rushed idea and one of the first gimmicky Silent Hills that ever came out. And so when gimmicky Silent Hills are out, I'm just not there. I'm not on board. But however, if you want me to play, if you legit would like to see this, go down, I can make a video on it. I don't see why not. You guys, it's up to you guys, really. So we're gonna go ahead and just, I'm gonna move this to the did not playlist because it's simply just not something that I know jack diddly about. Okay, with me so far? Good. Because all we have left is Silent Hill 1. I'm just gonna tell you now, Silent Hill 1 is my absolute favorite. Number one, absolute favorite. Silent Hill 1 is what started it all. It has a lot of history with me. It has a lot of nostalgia with me. But on a more important note, there was one key fact that made it what it is. And it was the amount of questions you were left with at the end. This is the biggest Silent Hill with that kind of open-ended experience where you simply wanted to know why things happened the way they did and you did not get answers. You had to talk to the producers or the creators or dig into some weird websites or anything like that because the game was rushed. The game had a deadline, and because they could not meet that deadline, a lot of content had to be cut. Because a lot of content had to be cut, a lot of questions did not get answered, and that was probably the greatest thing that could have happened to it. Silent Hill has become a much theorized game, and the fan base is very, 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 very rabid about what happened, how it happened, who it happened to, and when it happens. And it starts with Silent Hill 1. With those many questions circulating around what goes on in this game or in this world, it's no wonder it's as elusive as it is now to this day. Because it started with Harry Mason. It started with the idea that we don't know why. How does Celeste have powers? Is it a witch? Okay, how did we find it out? Did they say witch? Kids were calling her a witch. That's good. Are we certain she's, stuff like that. Stuff you really had to dig deep into and figure out. And that's why it goes in the number one slot right next to Silent Hill 4: The Room. I know I'm gonna get some flack about that. So we're gonna expand just a smidge here, just so there's no confusion. Okay, I'm gonna order the arrangement here. And the worst will be on the right-hand side, and the best out of each category will be on the left. You got me so far? So I will tell you, Silent Hill Origins goes right up at the front because none of these were even touched or played. So Silent Hill Origins wins by a landslide, okay? In the D section, the best out of the D section will be Silent Hill Arcade. Silent Hill Arcade's the best out of the bad. Then you have Silent Hill Homecoming. Then you have Book of Memories, and Silent Hill Ascension can sit at the very bottom in the dirt. You're lucky that didn't make an F rank just for them. Yeah, I do feel a type of way. Anyway, moving on. Between the Short Message and Shattered Memory, Short Message will stay where it is. It is the best of the rank C. I think Short Message beats out Shattered Memories. However, this doesn't say much. B sits alone with Silent Hill Downpour. A good game could be better, so on and so forth. With rank A, Silent Hill 2 will be number 1 in the number 1 slot for rank A. No, make no mistake about that, it is the best of rank A. Right after that is Silent Hill 3, and then PT. And then in the S rank, right at number 1, the number 1 spot will be my boy Harry Mason in Silent Hill 1, and then Silent Hill The Room following after. And that concludes my tier list of all the Silent Hills in the franchise and which ones are my favorite and things like that. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts on my selection? Do you think I'm way off base? Do you think now it explains everything? Or do you think you have a better tier list? Pop it in the comments. I've been absolutely loving everybody. Good Lord, a little frog in the throat. I've been absolutely loving everybody popping into my comments. I've been answering them at the wee hours of the night because I just get alert. I'm not one of those guys that ignores the comment section. I can't. I will be answering these things until my hands fall off. So it's good to hear from you guys, whether it's good or bad, whether you call me a good thing to view or you call me some woke teen drama CW. I don't know. I ran out of insults. Whatever you want to do, pop into the comments and talk about it. But, yeah, no, that's my tier list. I went ahead and left out the movies because they kind of belong on their own little ranking scale. But let's be honest, part 2 was the absolute best. For legal reasons, that is an absolute lie. It is not the best, not by a long shot. I'm just going to tell you now. Don't take any of that seriously, dear God.